Have you ever considered that your next big property renovation could unexpectedly leave you liable for thousands of dollars? Well, it absolutely could. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely demystify Mississippi's strict contractor laws and hand you the exact step-by-step tools you need to protect your property and your wallet. Whether you're planning a massive commercial build or just a much-needed home remodel, navigating this regulatory landscape isn't just healthful. It's absolutely essential. So let's dive right into this with a pretty serious question. Are you risking financial ruin on your next renovation? It sounds dramatic, I know, but the reality is, if you don't properly vet exactly who you're hiring, the state of Mississippi can and will hold you personally and financially responsible for it. And this perfectly illustrates exactly what I mean. Under Mississippi law, you can actually be hit with a massive 3% state-levied civil penalty on the total project cost, just for hiring an unlicensed contractor. To put that into perspective, a $150,000 remodel could cost you an extra $4,500 fine. There's just no way around it. The consequences of skipping a quick background check are immediate and, frankly, incredibly expensive. Okay, so here's our structured roadmap for today. We'll be looking at the risks of unlicensed contractors, understanding Mississippi license types, going through a step-by-step license search, avoiding scams and pitfalls, resolving contractor disputes, and wrapping up with some final tips and a legal disclaimer. Let's get right to it. Part 1. The risks of unlicensed contractors. Let's start by exposing the immediate, high-stakes risks of letting an unvetted worker step foot on your property. The crucial thing to understand here is that unlicensed workers operate completely without a safety net, right? They lack the legally required insurance or bonding to protect you if something breaks, and they expose you to super dangerous code violations because they literally can't pull proper legal permits. And the real kicker, if they just up and abandon your project, you have absolutely zero legal or lien recourse. They can't enforce a contract, and the state's formal channels can't help you either. You are essentially on your own. Which leads us directly into one of the most deceptive traps in the whole industry, the owner-builder exemption. Basically, this is a dangerous liability shifting tactic. Say a roofer asks you to pull the permit yourself to, save time. If you do this, you are legally declaring yourself the general contractor. You become fully liable for all code compliance, and if a worker falls off your roof, you are directly liable for their injuries. And your standard homeowner's insurance, they will almost certainly deny the claim. You definitely want to avoid this trap at all costs. All right, moving on to part 2, understanding Mississippi license types. Now that we know the severe stakes involved, let's clarify the specific legal thresholds established by the Mississippi State Board of Contractors, or MSBOC. Mississippi has very strict monetary rules about when a state license is absolutely mandatory. For any major commercial or residential project where the total cost, meaning labor and materials included, exceeds $50,000, you must use a state-licensed professional. And there's a really specific rule for residential roofing. Any job over $10,000 requires a licensed residential roofer. Local city permits just aren't enough at these thresholds. You have to have that MSBOC state license. The contrast here is night and day. A licensed professional has passed rigorous state testing, proven their financial responsibility, and carries a state-mandated minimum of $300,000 in liability insurance. Compare that to an unlicensed scammer who has zero insurance, demands cash up front, and completely opens the door to that catastrophic liability nightmare we were just talking about. Okay, part 3, step-by-step license search. Armed with this foundational knowledge, we're ready for the actionable core of our explainer, how to confidently verify exactly who you are hiring. Here is your exact verification playbook. First, get the exact legal business name or the numeric license number from the contractor's actual estimate. Do not just rely on the shiny logo painted on their truck. Second, run that info through the official MSBOC online database. And third, and honestly, this is a step so many people skip, verify that their license is actually active, unexpired, and covers your proposed job. I mean, a licensed electrician isn't legally cleared to build your home addition, right? When you're navigating that MSBOC lookup tool, pay super close attention to this vital technical detail. To avoid a false negative where the system tells you the contractor doesn't exist, enter only the numeric digits of their license. Completely drop any letter prefixes like MC for commercial or R for residential. The database thrives on exact numeric matches, so just give it the numbers. Part 4. Avoiding scams and pitfalls. Even with that MSBOC search tool in hand, you really have to remain vigilant. So let's identify the most common pitfalls out there. Knowing the baseline hourly rates for specialty contractors in Mississippi gives you an incredible superpower. We're looking at electricians between 65 and $100 an hour, plumbers at 70 to 100, and HVAC techs up to 120. Having this data allows you to instantly spot too good to be true fake discounts. If someone offers to replumb your entire house for $30 an hour, yeah, your alarm bells should be ringing loudly. Beyond suspiciously low rates, watch out for these massive red flags. Scammers absolutely love high-pressure sales tactics designed to make you rush your decision. Be incredibly wary of any contractor who demands a down payment of over 30% before any work even begins. Watch for fake references, and above all, avoid anyone who aggressively demands cash. Cash leaves no paper trail, folks. Once it's handed over, it is gone for good. Part 5. Resolving contractor disputes. Let's say you've done everything right. You checked the database, you spotted the red flags, but things still go sideways. What happens next? Well, if you do end up victimized, you have some very actionable escalation steps. First, file an official formal complaint online directly with the MSBOC. They actively investigate these cases. Second, report deceptive practices to the State Attorney General's office, who can assign a consumer mediator. And finally, for direct monetary compensation, you can file a case in the Justice Court for small claims. Just keep in mind that the absolute maximum limit there is $3,500. And finally, Part 6, final tips and a legal disclaimer. We're reaching the end of our journey today, so let's lock in those final protective measures. The absolute biggest takeaway here is that your best defense in any project is a meticulous paper trail. Always, always get multiple quotes to compare scopes and prices. Insist on a detailed written contract before a single tool is lifted, and strictly limit your down payments to between 10 and 30%. Request to physically see their bond and insurance documents. Actually ask to hold them in your hand. And keep copies of every single invoice, receipt, and email. Seriously, document the whole shebang. Now, before we wrap up, please take a quick second to note this disclaimer. The information in this explainer is strictly for educational purposes. Laws and regulations update all the time, so you should always independently verify licensing data through official state portals and consult with legal or construction professionals for your specific, unique situation. So before you sign that next contract or hand over a single dollar of your hard-earned money, ask yourself one final question. Does your contractor truly measure up to Mississippi's strict legal standards? Take what you've learned today, use this new shield of knowledge, and make absolutely sure your home, your business, and your finances are completely protected. If you found this explainer helpful, please share it with someone you know who's planning a project. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay informed out there.